Hi, everybody. I'm Joanne Murabito. I've been at the Heart Study for a long time. I'm in the section of internal medicine, and my work is in healthy aging, and I'm going to speak a little bit today about inflammation and immune health. We study basic biologic mechanisms of aging, also known as hallmarks of aging, to try and understand these mechanisms so that in the future we could develop an intervention that might slow aging, delay the onset of multiple chronic diseases, and extend healthy years of life. And one hallmark of aging that my group has focused on is chronic inflammation. And I want to tell you about this because we actually used the biorepository that Don spoke about. We have 1 million blood samples. So we took blood samples from our biorepository in Framingham participants, and we profiled immune cells in our blood, T cells and B cells, and we also measured inflammatory proteins in the blood. And we selected Framingham participants who were dementia-free at the time of that blood sample because we were interested in healthy brain aging. And because of the brain aging program, Rhoda, Jesse, and Lindsay's group, we have a lot of information in our participants on cognitive function, brain imaging, and incident dementia. And like others, I want to acknowledge my funding, my multiple PIs, Dr. Lunetta and Dr. Doyle, and numerous talented postdocs and biostat students. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about what we found with these inflammatory proteins in the blood. They associate with both cognitive function and brain imaging. Most of them were detrimental. So higher levels of these inflammatory proteins led to lower scores on cognitive function and smaller brain volumes. But I want to focus in on the ones that were protective. So we can see here that a few were protective in terms of cognitive function and structural brain imaging, and one in particular called TWEAK, I'd like to draw your attention to. TWEAK is involved in a range of cellular processes and vascular processes, and in our sample, higher levels were associated with better executive function and memory on cognitive testing, bigger total brain volumes, and importantly, lower incidence of dementia. So we're hoping that this can be replicated in larger, more diverse samples and may help us understand the neuroinflammation part of the pathology that leads to dementia and brain aging. So we also measured immune cells in the blood, and we noted important associations with age, sex, smoking, and mortality. The immune cells were also associated with brain imaging, but unlike the protein markers, they were not associated with cognitive function or dementia, so it didn't prove out our hypothesis. There's one additional thing that I want to point out to you. Framingham participants have CT scans obtained 15 years ago. After our immune cell work came out, investigators from artificial intelligence medicine at Harvard contacted my group, and you can see at the very top, they used these CT scans from 15 years ago to measure the thymus. The thymus is a gland in our body, you can see where it's located, that actually ages very early in life and was not felt to be associated with later life health. It generates the T cells that we were measuring. And you can see in this figure, in 2 cohorts, including Framingham, if we look at low thymic health, average thymic health, and high thymic health, those people with low thymic health actually are at risk, higher risk for cardiovascular disease mortality. And in Framingham, lower thymic health was associated with metabolic risk factors, smoking, and those inflammatory proteins that we were measuring in blood. So I just want to end by saying that I hope you all know that inflammation in the immune system plays a really important role in healthy aging, but it's complex and there's more work to do. And I hope by giving you these examples, some of you will be inspired to use the blood samples in the Framingham Biorepository or some of our other data in new ways to answer your scientific questions. And I believe I'm the last speaker between you all and that food out there. So Thank you for your attention.